What is going on, y'all? Mamba here, back with another trade review and market recap. Today is Tuesday at 5/6. Happy Tuesday. Sorry for the late trade review, but coming into today, I was watching the indices. They were showing relative weakness with NQ down 1.22% and ES was down 0.88%. So there was definitely weakness coming today. I caught one nice trade for 4,500. We're going to be going over that. But anyways, let's look at NQ. Yes, on Monday we rallied, and then on Tuesday we started trending downward, and then we were far away from the levels. So my plan was to use the opening print and potential pop and fade, just because if we look here, we're kind of making lower lows and lower highs, and I wanted to see if we can continue that unless we presented a divergence, then I'll open for longs. And we did actually present that later on in the day, but I was comfortable with the one and done just because I caught a really nice trade that yielded up to like 90 points. So let's look at the charts real quick. I'm going on the 2-minute time frame, my entry time frame. So we rallied initially, and right off the bat, I didn't trust this move just because the pre-market action was showing bearishness. And if we looked at the daily candle, it was showing bearish. And so I was looking for a potential like divergence or some kind of failed long setup. So we rallied, we had this pivot right here. And then once we broke this candle low, I just set my stop for a potential long failure right here. We were consolidating. That gave me another confirmation just because we didn't pull back and then aggressively buy back up. So I got off this entry, tight risk, 20 points. And initially I was aiming for the low of day, which was 64 points. And then I held the majority of my position at about 90 points or so. And then it ended up being a really fire day. If we looked at ES, it was the same thing. We rallied. We had this pivot right here. We eventually broke the pivot. And then we had this strong displacement candle downward. And once we had this candle, I was really satisfied with my entry. And then all I had to do was really hold the position. I wanted a bigger move, bigger than this low of day. And then once we triggered this divergence, that signifies a potential reversal. So I just got on my position. So if we can see right here, NQ made a low, but ES made a higher low. So basically that signifies a reversal. I could play the reversal, but I already got like a 4-hour trade on this, so I basically called it a day. But you can play this basically this reversal play. So you can use this bar. We had a strong aggressive bar right here, and then aim for the high of day as first target, and then we can aim for the overnight highs as the final target. And look at that, we hit the overnight highs, and this trade would have yielded about 3 Rs, 2.68. But I liked my trade idea, and I was happy with one and done. If you want to refine your entry and get even a better entry, we can zoom into the 1-minute time frame. We did have this liquidity gap right here that you can wait for some kind of retest or consolidation. So once we had this strong displacement candle, we retested the gap, and then you can enter right here as well, and then target the overnight highs, and that would have been a fire trade. But happy with my one and done. I'm not expecting too much tomorrow morning just because we have FOMC, and I'm likely gonna wait until the news release to get into any trades. With that being said, you'll have a good one. Peace.